Hello, welcome back to the channel. We've got a little something new for y'all. It's a little bit different style video, different new standardized testing, and we're gonna be putting the V13 through its paces. It's a little late coming, but I'm excited for us to be here.
Absolutely. One thing to keep in mind, neither Lukas and I are professional riders, so this review is from the eyes of an everyday rider. If you want to watch the racers and those crazy tests, go watch another channel.
Yeah.
Thanks and enjoy.
The InMotion V13 is a crazy machine. We could spend 20, 30, 40 minutes talking just about the trolley handle and what we think of it. I give it a 7.5 out of 10. The power pads and how they're some of the best ever on a stock EUC, and how completely useless the kill switch is on this thing.
But we're here to show you how this thing performs in the real world, in real life situations. So let's start the test.
Real world stair test. We've got a big wheel and a big set of stairs. I gotta catch my train. I got 3 minutes. Oh my God. 2 minutes. Live update, guys. It's not easy. Fuck. So I tried pushing it up by the trolley handle, but if you push on this out, I just don't want to push it hard enough and hurt it, but if you push it hard enough, it actually goes this way. And then it kind of starts feeling like you're over leveraging the whole system of the trolley handle, and putting that much weight through this, I didn't really want to crank that soldier boy too hard. So I decided to lift it like this. And Dima behind the camera was saying, you know, maybe getting behind it and pushing it like that would have made sense. It doesn't matter which way you do it. Getting this thing up 30 stairs is difficult, and I genuinely found it easier to lift it up while turned off and just fireman carry the whole damn thing up. But I am curious as to how it's going to fit into the trunk of a car, just lifting it up and tossing it in. Certainly not as hard as this, but I guess we'll find out.
All right, here we go. You know what? It almost... Nope. 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 For a second, I thought it might work.
All right, so we've been thinking about what we could do for a standardized test to take all the EUCs and put them in a kind of a real world situation and see how they're reactive, how quick they can corner, and just how they respond to a kind of standardized situation. Then we can plug and play every wheel and run them through the exact same test. I think we came up with a pretty good idea, but I'm gonna let Bradley explain it for you.
So this next test is a standardized test that we wanted to create to test the safety and maneuverability of each wheel. You may know this test in the car industry as the Moose test, but we call this the Goose test. Let me explain the rules.
Hey, watch out, I'm right!
All right, right now we're about to set up a Goose test. Lukas here is doing an ultra scientific, highly measured test where we're testing out a dangerous situation where if a car door were to open in front of you, how fast you can react and how fast you can be going and still be able to make that turn around a car door opening. In this case, we've measured an X5, a BMW X5, to see how fast we can go in the V13 and still maneuver around the car door. And that will be a standardized test that we do for all future wheels as well. So you'll be able to compare the maneuverability between one wheel and the next wheel. This is a big wheel, so we'll see how it does. Okay, so since this is the very first time we're actually doing the Goose test, we need to get a bit of practice under our belts. While Lukas is there practicing, let's take a look at the performance of the headlight of the V13 at night. We actually did some proper measurements. All right, this beautiful light we are about to test with this trusty gadget. It's a light meter. We're gonna measure the lux and the spread of the light that this thing goes from about 201 inches away. We're gonna measure the exact same space. We are in our store with nothing around, and let's measure away here. Okay, so from about 201 inches away, 17 feet, we are 631 lux. Now, one thing I've noticed right away is I'm not being blinded. Even down here, I'm not being blinded. As you can see, this line cuts off here. So it's really pedestrian friendly. And the other thing I noticed right away is how wide the spread is of this, the light. Like I don't even, yeah, Lucas, help me out there. We're 8 feet, 9.
Keep it going.
Still, yeah, this is an insane spread. So 11 feet, maybe more, of light spread. So that's showing you a lot more of potholes on the road. It's overall a heck of a lot safer having such a wide spread and not annoying to pedestrians. So let's test this out though to a different wheel, because we have nothing to compare it to yet. We will once we have more videos out. I say the veteran Sherman because it's got a very popular light. People love it. Everyone knows it's one of the better lights on the EUCs. So let's test it out and do a comparison. All right, here we have the veteran Sherman. Everybody knows this is a pretty decent light. We are gonna test it, compare it to the V13 light. So let's walk on over here. Okay, so I can already tell right away that the spread is a lot smaller. So in the brightest part of the light, we're looking at 696 lumen lux. But we're talking like 29 inches, 30 inches of spread compared to the massive spread we had before. And if I take this and just put it a little off to the side where it's no longer the brightest area, but not far from the center, it's only 135 lux. That is quite a difference. I'm actually quite surprised, but I did notice when I was riding the V13 outside that you can see everything. So one thing I'd like to note too, just standing here, looking at the Sherman, I'm being blinded right now. It's quite blinding, so normally I would be lowering the light even more, but then you have even a smaller area, surface area that is being lit up at night. Having a wider area is obviously safer, so the V13 definitely wins in this. I'm impressed with the light on it.
All right. Serious talk here. These videos take a lot of work. Bradley and I are the two co-founders of EVs, and it's a very fast-growing business. And now we have the help of Demo behind the camera, but it's still very hard. And all that we ask is that you like and subscribe, and perhaps comment something on the video. And we also give away stuff at the end of videos too. So if you comment, you might win something. It's a simple request for all the work that we put in to help entertain you, hopefully, and educate you, hopefully. Look at this guy. How can you not subscribe to that, this sweet little man? Bless your heart.
Yeah, bump me up to 15.
Here we go, bumping you up. 15, oh shit. Ride the beeps. Woo! All right, 20. Oh boy, oh boy. 26. Yeah, all right, 28. Woo! That's certified 28. All right, 30. Ah. Oh, yo.
Do you want 20?
Yeah.
20 is a pass. All right, you're at 25 now? Ooh. Nice. Let's bump it up to 30 and just see, because then you can test the middle. Ooh. Wow, you did it. That went surprisingly well. What did you think we were going to get going into it, the speed?
Like 13 kilometers an hour or something. We did the first pass and I was like, dude, this is just, it's going to be an aerial shot of us going like,
so slow.
But we hit 28, 29. Like,
yeah, you got 29, I got 28, and the fact that it was that close as well, pretty cool. I'm excited to keep doing this test for other wheels. I want to know what the 16X can do, because that's everybody knows, a very highly maneuverable wheel. Yes. So stay tuned. All these tests are also going to be on our future EUC.com website as well. And let's get on to the next test.
Let's go. Ladies and gents. Whoa! I'm out here on the V13. We're doing some trail testing here. Oh, I think I'm supposed to go right there. The trend with this thing, ooh, The trend with this thing is that it's got the power to really get you up any trails. It's just very tall, very top heavy, and it doesn't really feel like in its element. I think if you came from having been riding a lot of the much bigger wheels and you had hundreds of kilometers on them, you'd be fine. But if you're coming into, this is like one of your first big wheels or your first big wheel and you're looking to ride technical trails like this, it's definitely not my first choice. But the big issue here too is the suspension. Granted, we don't have it set up to full clunk, but like I almost bottomed out just on that. You know what I mean? But then you go over stuff like this and you're just laughing like, oh, oh, woo, woo, feels like nothing. So it's kind of a bit of both. And that's really my vibe for it. It's got the power, it's got the stability, but it's just a bit too top heavy, a bit too heavy in general. And the suspension's not at that same level to handle these kind of trails like say an S22 would, of course. Totally different wheels though. But that's enough trail talk. Let's head back into the workshop and
be careful.
It's one of those things you just
think a little deeper there, why don't you?
Yeah, it's just a beautiful, beautiful. This thing is quite amazing build quality. If you watch your teardown, you've already seen a majority of it. One thing I missed and I didn't really talk about is how easy it is to get the motor out of this thing for a tire change. Literally just pop off the controller cover, this part here, and pull it out, take the motor phase wires off, and you can just pull the motor right out. Super easy to do. We'll leave a link in our description of an easy way to do it if you want to see the full video. And overall, more EUC manufacturers need to learn from this design because it's going to make everyone's life easier when you do a tire change. Literally anyone can do it at home. So very cool. Other thing about this is the batteries have a smart BMS in the app. So in the app, you can actually, with great detail, see the exact voltage of every single battery. And you can actually be able to diagnose if you have a bad battery pack or a certain battery cell. And
call it the triangle BMS?
Yeah, triangle BMS.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be super accurate. Yeah. And as you can see from the display, it works. Yep. And I'm quite happy with this. It's going to make tech's jobs easier too when they're diagnosing battery issues.
Yep, yep.
One little issue we have found.
Speaking of the display.
Yeah, there are a couple issues with the display. Once in a while, we found that the display just wouldn't react when we touched it. The EUC was on, it was balancing, but we couldn't get the display to activate. We fixed it by just plugging it into the charger. So InMotion's app, including scooters and all their products, have been known to be a bit buggy, and it's not the best. It looks decent, but hopefully it'll get better with time. But luckily, it wasn't a major issue, and I'm sure firmware update would probably fix that from ever happening in the future. Yep. Oh, the Raptor controller in this thing.
That's a big one. Don't miss it.
42 MOSFETs. This thing
MOSFETs.
Feels super safe when you're riding it. It's one of those wheels I don't think it would be very difficult to cut out. It'd have to have something catastrophic would have to happen.
You were just, not to ruin anything, but you were just going at a pretty high clip at a pretty low battery. Yeah. We weren't even getting beeped at.
Yeah, I feel very, very safe on this thing. By far the safest. And again, the Raptor controller is perfectly waterproofed. They did a really good job with it, and I hope other manufacturers learn from what InMotion has done here.
Yeah. So I'll buy one, disassemble this, copy a lot of it, please.
Let's talk about the motor here. Now, this is a lot of copper, the most copper I've ever seen in an EUC motor. Hull sensor here, hull sensors on the other side. They're all pinned, the motor is pinned, and you're not gonna have any stator slippage here. Really, really impressive motor, especially when you compare it to S22 motor. The size difference is just, it just speaks for itself. So very impressive 4,500 watt motor. It's a big, heavy wheel. You need a powerful motor to move it, and it moves pretty damn well, if I do say so myself. And the 22-inch wheel as well makes it super smooth. Absorbs all the bumps, and the suspension, of course, is a nice addition to that. So one thing that we did find is the first batch, have weak bolts, axle bolts. And when we put one of these back together, we didn't tighten them enough and they actually sheared off when we were testing. And obviously an issue. InMotion has acknowledged this issue, and they are sending us stronger, the 20% stronger bolts, and giving us the proper torque specs so we can put them in properly. And they say that should solve the issue. We'll report back if we have any other issues once we get those new bolts in. And if you did buy a V13 from us, every single motor will be replaced with the stronger bolts before we ship them out. So no worries there as well. Now, we've seen the insides of this thing, but let's see how it performs out there in the real world.
Okay, so we're out here in our top speed testing track that we like to use here in Vancouver. And as you guys saw in the workshop part of the video, the V13 motor has a monstrous 4,500 watt motor, one of the most powerful motors, if not the most powerful, ever put into an EUC, which makes it able to hit top speeds of over 90 kilometers an hour. And we're not gonna test that top speed today. This is more a representation of kind of the everyman's, every woman's, every person's speed. But we're still gonna see how quick we can get going. Luckily, Bradley has nominated himself to do such a thing, but we also have a bus coming. Okay, don't die, be safe. Don't go crazy.
I got this.
All right,
let's go.
I support you.
All right, I'm gonna go to the end, turn on everything, screen record. We'll be good. All right, I got up to 70.8 kilometers there in a fairly straight stretch, but man, that acceleration 270 was very, very fast. I don't feel much more comfortable going any faster than that. I'll let you speed demons test it out because we all know this thing can reach up to speeds up to 90, 92. But acceleration and speed is one thing. How about braking? Let us set up the brake test.
It's time for the braking portion, going from X speed down to 0, testing how fast each of the devices brake. Since this is brand new to us and we have nothing to refer to, we thought, let's find a very popular form of transportation that people would understand to reference to and use it as that for the beginning. We thought, road bike, perfect. Who do we have that bike's, who's really good, who's gonna stop fast? Our customer support manager, Mickey, Mr. Nicky is an absolute G on a bike, and I think it's gonna be a really good reference point as to how fast they brake versus the UCs. What do you think?
Good biker, that's a stretch. I believe I'm being used because I have a bike.
That's a fact, yeah. But I mean, you look like you're fast, so.
I look the look, but do I ride the look? Who knows? We'll find out.
Let's see, I'm excited.
Oh no. A whole, what? 2 meters? I told you it'd be 2 meters.
Woo! Same. I can't believe I stopped that fast. All right, so Lukas has got to go now, right? All right.
Whoa! Scary.
Okay.
That might have been like 48.
That brake test was insane.
Oh man.
I'm blown away actually. Now, because we didn't have a EUC to compare it to yet, because this is the first time we've done it, we had to use the bike, and we thought at the shop there's no chance.
Oh man, I was like protesting yesterday. You weren't there, but I was like, guys, I was like annoyed. I'm like, this makes no sense. A 15-pound carbon fiber road bike with 2 wheels at any speed versus a 120-pound almost EUC with guys that like aren't super hard breakers. Like, it's just gonna make it look bad. And we freaking romped the thing.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
I mean, you went before me, or I went before you, and I got close to him, and I'm not the best breaker. So I was still really impressed with my results. And then you end up going and end up absolutely crushing him.
Yeah.
You know, and like, the nice thing about EUCs is the brakes don't lock up. You can still turn while you're braking a little bit or keep rolling. Whereas a bike, you slam it on those brakes, they're skidding, you know? And that part is just...
I think we
I'm
can
impressed.
confidently say that they, you know, average person versus average person, the UCs brake faster, even the biggest, baddest ones.
So we've done acceleration tests, we did the braking test.
Yep.
It's time to test the hill climbing abilities, and we
Yes.
found the steepest hill in Vancouver.
Yes.
We're about to go see how well this crushes that hill and go from there.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Okay, we are here on the shockingly steep Ptolemy Street. This is the steepest residential street in all of Vancouver. Googled it, found it. You see this guy running up to give some perspective as to how steep it is. Get it, go, go, go. And what our plan is with this is to give an actual kind of a realistic perspective of not just these crazy 40-degree, like for the clicks, kind of how steep can it go, a realistic perspective of how do all these different wheels fare on a real street that you would be riding up on perhaps your daily commute. And so we're gonna take the V13, we're gonna bring it up this around, I don't know, probably 500-meter pace here on this road, see what the heat is from bottom to top, see the changes, and compare it to how the other wheels do as we continue to test on this road. So 22 degrees, motherboard temp, a slow run up the steepy boy here. I'm gonna try and hold a really low speed and see what we can do here. Really trying to stress the motor here. I'm hands-free, baby. I can do a live check here. What are we at? Oh God, not even many degrees.
Okay, this thing is, it does pretty well up this steep cardiac hill. I've done this hill on many wheels. The biggest struggle was the V11 back when I sucked. But the V13 is just effortlessly climbing up. Even if I come to a complete, it's like almost a stop and then accelerate again. There's barely any motor growl. It just feels like this thing has more than enough power to take me up over heat. The temperature is climbing gradually. I started at 41 degrees and really solid. The tire is quite nice. The 22-inch tire, you can really feel quite stable. It's not very squirrely when I am going really slow, because when you go up slow, it's a little harder. But overall, the hill climbing test, super solid. Really no issues at all. It was, I'm pleasantly surprised with the V13's hill climbing ability.
We did go to a little kind of like con. We were going to go into the software, and I wanted to log into Darkness Bot to record the temperature, and we get a live recording of it, and it wouldn't connect, and we couldn't connect to it yesterday. So if you're a Darkness Bot fan, I don't know if this is going to get solved, how long it's going to last, but that's quite annoying. Got to log into the InMotion app, and it worked perfectly. But as I'm sure anybody who's used the InMotion app before knows, it's not the best sometimes, and it'll do, but so be it, right? Anyways, hill climb done, app complaining done, V13 praising done. Let's head back into the shop and talk a little bit more.
Okay, so you know what? It's better than I expected. And I will say I came into the V13, it's too big, too heavy. And it does feel too big and heavy at times. And you feel it when you ride it. It's not going to be a beginner wheel by any means. And I will say, if I have to pick one wheel, and if I could only have one wheel, or I can only afford one wheel to rule them all, it's not going to be the V13. It would probably be the Sherman-S or the S22 Pro.
Yeah, that's right.
Coming out.
That's right.
So it's great. I liked it. The weight just really does, and the size, even trawling it, is just...
It's a lot. I'll say real quickly, when someone comes into the store and we consult them on which wheel to get, if they're a new rider, I normally have, before the V13, I'd always say, like, don't worry too much. Budget should be really the only thing that holds you back. If you get a Sherman, I was like, oh, it's a big wheel, it's too much. I'm like, it is for the first while, but then you'll grow into it and you won't have to spend all that money kind of laddering your way up to a bigger wheel. It'll be a bit harder to learn at the start, but you'll still learn. A lot of people have, so I have that as precedent. However, the V13 changed that for me. It's the first wheel where someone's been like, I don't say that anymore. I'll be like, well, except for the V13, because it broke that barrier.
Yeah, we really had to acclimatize.
Seriously, man, yeah, like quite a bit of time. I will say, like you said, I feel
orders of magnitude more comfortable on it now than I did
It gets
before.
better with time, and I do say I love the high-speed cornering, the low-speed cornering. It turns better than I thought for the size, but just putting the thing in my closet is annoying. I wouldn't own it, but it's a great wheel. I think a lot of people are going to love it, and a lot of people are going to love the safety aspect. So, and as for the range test too, so big wheel, you expect it to have massive batteries, but it's only a 3,024 watt-hour battery. I say that only because a few years ago that was very impressive.
Yep.
So the range test was decent. I was actually able to get 71 kilometers total range at about 7 degrees Celsius outside. So that's pretty cold temps. I would estimate I'd get about 20% more range if I was in a warmer climate. So I would guess that I would get around 85 kilometers of range. And that's riding hard. I kept my speed up at least 50 to 60 kilometers an hour the entire time. But every single lap I did during the straight stretch, I hit speeds between 70 to 78 kilometers an hour. And it's funny because I actually beat my top speed during my range test, which I found quite funny, but that's because I got a lot more comfortable with the wheel. And after you get more climatized, you start to feel more comfortable. So that's why I was able to go even faster. Important to note, I was actually able to go 66 kilometers an hour at 20% range. So that's a lot of usable range, even at the low end of the battery. Not many wheels can go that fast at 20% charge. So this wheel doesn't have much voltage sag, even with the Samsung 35E 18650 cells. Overall, I'm fairly impressed with the range test. Obviously, you can go a lot further if you go slower, but no one's gonna be riding a wheel like this slow, in my opinion. That's not why you're getting it. But overall, pretty happy with the range test. But yeah, so what do you guys think about this new video format? Do you like it? Do we miss anything in the review that you kind of wanted to know?
I mean, like, come on. You got the music, we got A camera, we got a B camera, like, it's just so much better. There's cool cuts and all the stuff that we wanted to do before. It was just like, we don't have time. We literally run the business too, and it's fast growing. We would just got a new thing, set the chairs up, Amazon ring lights. Okay, cool, put the camera on. Good camera, but like, all right, cool, record, good. Hopefully, send.
It's gonna take us a little longer to bang these videos out than normal, but quality over quantity, right? So
We'll still be banging though.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.